At 5:22 in the morning on September 14, 2025, the Caribbean looked calm. The waves rolled steady, stars sparkled above, and ships moved along one of the busiest trade routes in the world. To the crews of these vessels, the waters off Puerto Cabello, Venezuela, seemed peaceful, but peace can vanish in an instant. Suddenly, a flash lit up the coast. 7 supersonic missiles fired skyward, each as long as a bus, each carrying a warhead heavy enough to split a ship apart. Their target was an American cargo vessel, the Liberty Star, and the U.S. destroyer guarding it. This was no warning. This was a strike on America's lifeline at sea. The Liberty Star carried $120 million worth of machinery, medicine, and fuel. Its 28 civilian crew members went about their duties, unaware that in Caracas, leaders had already chosen confrontation. Just weeks earlier, Venezuela announced harsh tariffs on shipping and claimed broader control of nearby waters. Behind those words stood Bastion P coastal missile batteries, each armed with P-800 Onyx supersonic missiles. At nearly 2,000 miles per hour, one could obliterate a billion-dollar warship. Caracas was gambling that bold action could push the United States back. The Pentagon's answer was clear. Every merchant ship would sail with protection. For the Liberty Star, that shield was the USS Arleigh Burke, a guided missile destroyer carrying 300 sailors and the Aegis radar system. Its mission was simple: defend the trade route at all costs. When the missiles launched, the calm ended. On radar screens aboard the destroyer, 7 red streaks appeared, closing the 180-mile distance in less than 5 minutes. Inside the combat center, alarms shrieked and sailors scrambled to their posts. The weapons officer shouted confirmation, multiple incoming missiles, enemy fire. Training became reality in seconds. The order was given to attack. The Aegis system roared, launching SM-6 interceptors. Phalanx close-in guns spun up, spitting thousands of rounds into the sky. The night exploded with fire. 5 of the incoming missiles were blown apart mid-air. One malfunctioned and crashed into the sea, sending shockwaves across the waves. Another detonated prematurely, scattering debris that shook the Liberty Star's hull and tossed cargo to the deck. The cargo ship was shaken but safe. The destroyer stood untouched. No American lives were lost. The shield had held, but defense was only half the fight. The next move belonged to the sword. In Washington, orders came quickly. Retaliate, but keep the sea lanes open. The target was obvious. Puerto Cabello shipyard, Venezuela's largest, stretched across 2 million square feet of coastline. Inside were missile storage yards, dry docks, and assembly hangars. Satellites had spotted rows of missile tubes lined like dominoes, waiting to be used. If America wanted to secure the trade lanes, this facility had to be destroyed. The strike plan was sharp and deliberate. From a carrier group south of Aruba, 3 FA-18E Super Hornet jets launched, each armed with 2 AGM-158 long-range cruise missiles. At sea, the Arleigh Burke prepared to fire 5 Tomahawks from its vertical launch cells. 11 missiles, in total worth $60 million, would strike with precision. Civilian shipping lanes ran nearby, so accuracy was critical. The United States would demonstrate not only strength, but control. At 6:05 a.m., the attack began. The Super Hornets soared through the sky and released 6 deadly missiles. From the sea, 5 Tomahawks launched and curved toward Venezuela's coast. Minutes later, the strikes arrived. The first missile tore into the storage yard, reducing Onyx launch tubes to molten metal. Tomahawks smashed workshops and power stations, plunging the yard into darkness. Another hit the dry docks, shaking the ground and twisting steel beams like straws. Fireballs rose, black smoke clawed into the sky. Drones circled overhead, capturing the destruction in high definition. The devastation was staggering. 4 major plants flattened, 7 cranes toppled, and 70% of the yard's capacity gone. The damage was valued between $350 and $450 million. For Venezuela, already weakened economically, the loss was crushing. The human cost was heavy too. More than 850 workers had been present. Despite warnings, many had stayed on duty. When the strikes landed, at least 32 were killed and 88 more wounded. Families across Carabobo woke to smoke, sirens, and grief. Hospitals overflowed as rescue helicopters rushed the injured. For Venezuela, the price of its gamble was now measured in blood. Militarily, the defeat was total. With its shipyard destroyed, Venezuela lost the ability to repair or rearm coastal missile batteries. 2 Bastion launcher clusters and their fire control radars were destroyed outright. By noon, A dangerous strike force had become a crippled shell. The 7 Onyx missiles Venezuela fired, worth nearly $20 million, had achieved nothing. Not one had struck its target. The American counterattack had erased an entire naval hub in under 2 hours. The world felt the shock. Nearby merchant ships scattered, 20 freighters diverted course, their captains sending frantic SOS calls. Insurance premiums for sailing near Venezuela tripled overnight. Tankers worth hundreds of millions were rerouted, adding weeks of travel and millions in extra costs. Markets trembled as delays rippled from Houston to New York. Politically, Caracas stood alone. 20 nations condemned Venezuela for attacking a civilian ship. Washington released footage of the strike, showing the precision and discipline of its response. America argued it had spared civilian shipping and struck only military targets. In Caracas, leaders faced humiliation. Their gamble had exposed weakness instead of strength. By dawn, the balance sheet was clear. Venezuela lost over $400 million in infrastructure, its largest shipyard reduced to rubble, dozens dead, and nearly 90 wounded. Its Navy's strike capability crippled for months, if not years. America counted no dead, no sunken ships, and no damaged warships. Its only cost was the $60 million spent on missiles, a price Washington called necessary to keep the seas safe. The Liberty Star steamed onward, guarded by steel and discipline. The lesson was sharp. Recklessness leads to ruin, while precision ensures survival. Venezuela gambled that boldness could overpower preparation. They fired first, hoping to scare a superpower. Instead, their missiles fell into the sea and their shipyard burned. For Venezuelan families, the cost was smoke-filled skies and empty chairs at dinner tables. For the world, the message was unmistakable. When missiles fall into trade lanes, they strike not only ships, but economies, families, and futures. As the sun rose, Puerto Cabello's horizon glowed black with smoke instead of light. It stood as a monument to a reckless gamble and a warning to all who watched. When you strike at America's ships, you test both its shield and its sword, and history shows that those who gamble against them often lose everything.